tell you what's not fair. What's not fair is that our seniors for too long have had to cut pills in half because they cannot afford their full medication. That's not fair. It's not fair that our seniors have had to choose between filling their prescriptions and putting food in their refrigerator or paying their rent. That's not fair. And that's why we will continue to do our work together, including Fight Project 2025, an agenda that would cut Medicare and increase the cost of health care in our country. Because we stand with the people and on the side of the people. We will also cut taxes for working families, including restoring and expanding the child tax credit. Because we know this is the kind of work that must happen if we are to be true to our values and be true to understanding that parents, in particular young parents, need that support. When we extended the child tax credit, cut child poverty by 50%, by half. Think about what that meant for so many families. The vast majority of parents have a desire to raise their children well. They love their children, but don't necessarily have the resources to do everything their child needs. I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. And we should all have a vested interest in ensuring that children can grow up with the resources that they need to achieve their God-given potential. So I know where I come from. And we have to always put, and I know CHC agrees with this, and this is part of our collective life's work. We have to put the middle class first. We have to put working families first, understanding their dreams and their desires and their ambitions deserve to be invested in, and it will benefit everyone. And together, CHC, we must also reform our broken immigration system and protect our dreamers and understand we can do both, create an earned pathway to citizenship and ensure our border is secure. We can do both, and we must do both. And while we fight to move our nation forward to a brighter future, Donald Trump and his extremist allies will keep trying to pull us backward. We all remember what they did to tear families apart. And now they have pledged to carry out the largest deportation, a mass deportation, in American history. Imagine what that would look like and what that would be. How's that going to happen? Massive raids? Massive detention camps? What are they talking about? They will also give billions of dollars of tax cuts to billionaires and corporations, massive tax cuts, pardon January 6th perpetrators who attacked our Capitol not far from here. They would cut Social Security and Medicare. They intend to end the Affordable Care Act and threaten the health care of more than 5 million Latinos in our country. All based on, I'm sure many of you saw the debate, So on that point about the Affordable Care Act, all based on concepts of a plan. Concepts. Their Project 2025 agenda would pull our nation backward. But we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. Instead, together, we will chart a new way forward, because ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to live without fear of bigotry and hate, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. And understand on that last point how we got here. Everyone here knows. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would do just what they did, which is to overturn the protections of Roe v. Wade. And now in more than 20 states, we have a Trump abortion ban, which criminalized healthcare providers. In one state, providing prison for life. You guys may have heard the story, many here, about the stories about the horrendous, most recent stories about what happened in Georgia. Many of these Trump abortion bans that make no exception for rape or incest, it's immoral. It's immoral. And today, 40% of Latinas in America live in a state with a Trump abortion ban. So imagine if she is a working woman. Understand that the majority of women who seek abortion care are mothers. Understand what that means for her. So she's got to now travel to another state. God help her that she has some extra money to pay for that plane ticket. She's got to figure out what to do with her kids. God help her if she has affordable childcare. Imagine what that means. She has to leave her home to go to an airport, stand in a TSA line. Like, think about this. You know, everybody here is your policy leaders. I always say to my team, especially the young people I mentor, on any public policy, you have to ask, how is this going to affect a real person? Ask how it would affect a real person. Go through the details. So she's got to stand in a TSA line, to get on a plane sitting next to a perfect stranger, going to a city where she's never been, to go and receive a medical procedure. She's going to have to get right back to the airport because she got to get back to those kids. And it's not like her best friend can go with her because the best friend is probably taking care of the kids. All because these people have decided they're in a better position to tell her what's in her best interest than she is to know. It's just simply wrong. And I think we all know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what to do. And I pledge to you, when CHC helps pass a law to restore reproductive freedoms as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. Proudly. So friends, we have some work to do. In fact, a lot of hard work ahead of us. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work, I say. And I truly believe that America is ready to turn the page on the politics of division and hate. And to do it, our nation is counting on the leaders here, your power, your activism. And so I thank you in advance for your work to register people to vote and get people to the polls. Each of us has a job to do. As we celebrate this month, we know we stand on broad shoulders of people before us who have passed us now the baton. Those heroes who fought for freedom, who have now passed the baton on to us. And the bottom line is we know what we stand for, so we know what to fight for. And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Distinguished guests, the President of the United States, accompanied by Jennifer Klein, Ada Limon, Nicole Matthews, Kyle Richard, and Ruth Glenn.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us to mark the 30th anniversary of the Violence Against Women Act. I'd like to welcome the hundreds of survivors, advocates, and allies with us here today. I'm Jennifer Klein, and I have the honor of serving as the director of the first ever White House Gender Policy Council. While there is still so much to do to end gender-based violence, today we reflect on the progress we've made over the last 30 years. When people were still whispering about domestic violence, then Senator Biden started a national conversation. He gave survivors a microphone they never had before, and he listened, and he forced others to listen. He stood up for women and girls, as he always has and always does. Alongside courageous survivors and advocates, he forced the country to face what it had ignored for far too long. The Violence Against Women Act fundamentally transformed our nation's laws and culture. President Biden, with all of you, has worked to strengthen this law ever since. And this president, vice president, and this president, this vice president, and the entire administration are fighting every single day to end gender-based violence once and for all. Now, I have the great honor of introducing the first of our incredible speakers, our nation's poet laureate, Ada Limon.
It is my great honor to be with you all today to help mark this important occasion. When I was first asked to attend today's ceremony, I thought I'd read a poem I had already written. But a few days went by, and I kept coming back to the significance of this day. And as I held the power of the Violence Against Women Act in my head and in my heart, I decided I needed to compose an original poem. So here is a poem I wrote specifically for this gathering, for today, for all of you. For the sake of us. Out of the burst of air that is breath caught and breath returned, out of cloud cover, out of clover leaf and glue, out of private disasters and the spinning webs of fall's wind, what is woven, what is brilliantly designed to hold our own bright selfhood, comes into focus. Out of break and bonding, out of new shoots of blossoms and the outline of fallen leaves, out of one voice calling and more voices echoing, out of who we are erased of unease, only the original tender thing, out of our own groundedness that is not unfounded, but of this earth, the planet's signal that blinks, you belong. You belong. Yes, you too belong. Out of this comes our own sovereignty, a sanctity that is not ceremonial, but true. For each of us must stand in the arms of the rough world and trust it wants us here, wants to carry us safely, wants our inner wilderness the way it wants the trees, wants the growling self and the soft self, wants the body and what's beneath, wants us all to be allowed to breathe. Thank you.
Please welcome Nicole Matthews.